Okay, record. Okay, welcome friends. We're so glad that we can get together and do some yoga tonight and talk about some ways where we can be able to have some grounding with certain oils and then pair that with our exercise. We've done a lot more on the uh, more like high energy, get our heartbeat going and everything. Now we're gonna do some exercise where we can relax and feel like, okay, now I'm bringing in more of that relaxation side. So we're going to talk about 3 oils, and it's all because we want to focus in on this guy, Northern Escape, because that's one of the oils that are in the running for if you're doing the Movement March challenge, you can be able to win. And so I wanted to feature and focus on 2 trees that are in Northern Escape because Northern Escape is a tree heavy oil. So cedarwood is the first one, and then we've got Siberian fir. So I don't know if you guys have that, either of those on you, but that way you can kind of know, all right, what is this doing for me? And it's always nice to be able to smell it, and then it makes a little bit more, it just kind of sits in, and you are able to absorb more of what we're going through. So we're going to talk about 3 things with each oil. We'll focus on the physical ways that each of the oils can support us, then some of the ways that it can help our minds, our brain, and then emotionally. So for the cedar wood, we're going to just focus for a little bit on a couple things there. So I wanted to go over 4 things. One is for skin. So more on the psoriasis eczema side. I would use it with a carrier oil if you're going to put that on any areas that are kind of patchy. And then even any sort of cough and sinus issues. So it's very, and here's Joel. Um, it's very good at helping to kind of dry out things. So that that's why it can help with more of the mucus buildup. And then also for more bladder types of issues. So if we have any sort of infections going on, UTIs, those sorts of things, cedarwood can be very helpful. So you can put a drop just on that lower abdomen. You can also put a drop in a glass. Again, we don't want to use plastic just because then we're leaching that plastic into our bodies. But if it's in glass, then we can just take that drop and go ahead and take a drink. And now it can help on that UTI side. And the last one that I want to go over is more of an insect repellent. So it can help with mosquitoes as well as roaches. So we have definitely used those like on like a cotton ball, and we'll just like put it on little places in the house or on our body for the mosquitoes and everything. Especially for cedarwood. I don't know if you guys have ever used like the cedarwood chips, like the mulch chips, and use that ever to help repel things, but it can it can help even in the garden. So that's for the cedarwood side and sleep. Okay, now we're going for the mind, how it can help more for the mind. So sleep is a big one. If we deal with any sort of insomnia, and especially for Joel, where he's not a lavender guy, he would much rather smell a tree. And this is his favorite tree, is cedarwood. And he'll use that if he's having any sort of sleep issues. So, and then for actually ADD, ADHD focus, it's a very grounding oil where we can be able to have better focus. Now, on the emotional side, we're going to kind of go over what we would maybe deem the negative emotion, and how when we use it aromatically, how it can help us to move into the positive emotion. So the again, quote unquote negative emotion would be alone. So if we're feeling kind of that loneliness, if we've got especially like young family members who are off at college or teens and those sorts of things, that's a really good era where they could tap on some cedarwood so that they can move from alone to connected. So it's that feeling of interconnectedness. That's the trees are such an example symbolically and emotionally for us that way. So that's the cedarwood. Now let's go over the Siberian fir. So same thing, we'll start with the physical, then the mind, and then emotionally, what it can help us with. So here, again, just 4 things. This is more for any sort of pain and like arthritis. It's really great for bones in general. So if we even have things like broken bones or osteoporosis, we've used it with some of our patients when they are like, oh no, we have a fracture and we can't adjust. I can do acupuncture, but we can't adjust. Let's use some Siberian fir on that or birch. And then that can at least help with some of the pain around that wound there. Other things that it can help with are congestion. So similar to the cedar wood, but this is more for like sore throat and fevers as well, beyond just the respiratory side that the cedar wood had. Siberian fir can do. And then similar again with the more of the candida side along with the UTI. So they have some similar features as you can see, but a little bit of a different unique twist as well. I'd say in terms of the difference of aroma, this one's more like you're gonna go just walk in like a forest where it's just kind of more like a Florida forest where it's like kind of earthy smelling, the cedar wood. Whereas the Siberian fir, it's much more like a mountainy type of forest where it's like more of the firs or the like piney type of sharper smell. So I love that one. That's one we love to diffuse, especially like wintertime. But it's great if you have any of those other things going on, like um, the congestion and fevers.
We've actually been pairing it recently with
Yeah,
with
wild
wild
orange.
orange, and it's really nice. If you put like a drop or two of Siberian fir, and then you do 5 or 6 drops of wild orange, it has this really like nice kick. Really blends well together though. So anyway,
Mm,
that's a fun thing that we've been doing at the office.
I love that. Okay, and then now on the brain side. So it can help more when we're dealing with anxiety or even any sort of brain fog where it's like, oh, I don't even know, my memory keeps going, or it just feels cluttered, or like mental exhaustion. Those are times when it's really great to use that because, again, it has that sharpness to it. So it can kind of help us like click back on. So the emotional side of how it can support us is from that feeling of excluded to empowered. So kind of similar, right? Like alone, but it's a different shade. And I appreciate that about the different oils is that they give us a different, deeper shade of different emotions and feeling. So the last one was connected, now it's empowered. It's like, okay, I can feel strong within, even if I'm not really connected to others. I can still feel, you know, included within myself, if nowhere else. So, last one, let's go over Northern Escape itself. So, this one, it doesn't have as many on the physical side as compared to the other oils just on their own. So, more on the respiratory issues like the others had, and then more of the joints and muscle aches. Those are really the two things physically it's known to support with. Mentally, it's from that feeling of like overstimulation with screen time in particular. So it's great to use any of the wood blends with kids, like when they're on the screen. I know a lot of kids nowadays, they have like tablets and stuff for schoolwork, or even just for ourselves with work all the time. And if we're on the computer, we can use the oils just across the forehead on the bottoms of our feet or diffusing it can help us feel grounded again, as opposed to kind of like loopy with the screens. So this one I did want to actually read to you a little bit just because it has such a beautiful description. And I have recently going through the training for essential emotions, and it's using the oils to be our partners in being able to make that neurological shift so that we can move out of those, whatever those negative emotions, and into those positive ones that we're hoping for. So this one is the feeling of from weighed down to sustained. And it's just really focusing on transitions. Like, so if we have transitions of life happening, this is a great one to anchor in. So let me go ahead and I just wanted to read one little paragraph on it from the Essential Emotions book. So here it is. It says, this blend of Northern Escape anchors individuals so they don't prematurely escape the growing process they've been called to travel through. It assists them with grounding and accepting the discomfort of their experience, instead of running away through various forms of distraction or denial. It also teaches them to slow the pace and conserve their energy in order to endure the full duration of their reformation. Isn't that beautiful? That's why I wanted to share that with you guys because it's like, oh, we can actually fully go through the transition rather than just trying to run through the discomfort of whatever the season is that we're in. So that is on Northern Escape. What we're going to do now is we're going to do our yoga. And I wanted to just introduce Amy. Amy is a dear friend of ours, our family friend, and we've loved seeing her family grow and blossom as well. And she has been doing yoga for 11 years, and she's been instructing in a variety of different and wellness and fitness classes for 28 years. So we are really in a beautiful treat to be able to have her teach us tonight. So we'll let you take it away, Amy, to kind of tell us a little more about your philosophy and style behind yoga.
Okay. Um, Before we start moving, I was just gonna share. There are different approaches to a yoga practice. My approach, I come from a more um, physical body approach versus like a spiritual approach. Some people kind of use their yoga practice as more of a spiritual practice, and I really came to it more for mental and nervous system and body benefits. And that's one of the things I love about yoga is your practice is yours. And so you can kind of put into it and get out of it what you desire. And you'll find that people go in different directions. So it doesn't mean that we all have to have the same intention with our yoga practice. We can have our own individual intention with it that kind of frees us from feeling like maybe a label or a mantle is being placed upon us if we're practicing yoga. I don't know if that makes sense, but so I love yoga because of the breath work, which is good for so many things. The thing that I find is kind of most accessible to me in the breath work is the calming of the nervous system. And so practicing yoga on a regular basis just helps you remember to access the breath work at other times when you might need to calm some anxiety or a racing mind, or help a child just to kind of calm and regroup. And I feel like if you're practicing yoga on a regular basis, you're more apt to remember that tool of breath work in other situations. And I love that. And I've had people tell me that, all with our Fitbits and all the different things we have now to measure, I've had people tell me that they have done breath work with me and they've watched their heart rate come down as they're doing the breath work. So it does work. And then also just kind of that time when you're on your mat where you can clear away distraction and really just focus on your breath work and on what you're feeling in your body, and just how helpful that is sometimes to just almost take that mental break out of life and just focus on your breathing and on what you're feeling in your body. And then that's the third thing that I appreciate about yoga is how it helps us tune into the signals that our body's giving us, and learning to listen to those signals and to make little adaptations based on what your body's telling you. Because that's what you're doing all throughout your yoga practice. You're getting into a position and then you're kind of tuning into your body and listening to what your body's telling you. And then you're just making little micro adjustments based on what your body needs. So that's kind of my philosophy of practicing yoga. And I thought we would start with a little bit of breath work. And I've created a little bit of a standing practice tonight because I thought that would be the easiest way for everyone to see rather than being down on the mat. So it won't be as quote unquote relaxing as maybe a different practice would be, but I think it'll still be good.
That'll be perfect. Thank you.
So I'll start the music and then find your space where you can have a little bit of room. And let me know if that volume is okay.
Sounding good.
Okay. All right. So we're just going to start with our feet about hip distance apart. And you don't want to lock your knees. So I always cue softening the knees. I like to tell you to lift your toes up and spread them wide apart and then put them down on the mat. And then feel equal pressure on all four sides of your feet. So you're good and grounded and rooted down through your feet. Just for now, kind of relax your belly and allow your belly to expand with your inhale. You might also feel your rib cage widen with your inhale. And then as you exhale, the belly pulls in and the rib cage narrows. So let's just do 3 breaths, focusing on feeling that air expanding in the torso. Inhaling, cage widens, belly expands, and then exhale, everything narrows. And just tune into your feet. Are you rolling toward the outer edges or the inner edges? Make sure that you're really just pressing down equally throughout this whole surface area of your foot. And we'll do our 3rd breath here. Inhale. And exhale. Traditionally, usually we inhale and exhale through the nose, especially with all the pollen on crazy right now. That may not be accessible to you. So obviously you need to breathe however it works best for you. But if you can, inhale and exhale through the nose. We're going to do something called a box breath. We're going to inhale for a count of 4. Hold the breath for a count of 4. Exhale for a count of 4. And then hold the breath for a count of 4. And we'll do 2 rounds of that. So soften your knees, drop your shoulders down away from your ears, blow all your air out. And inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Take an inhale through the nose. And open mouth exhale. Just like you're kind of trying to fog up a mirror. Let's do that one more time. It's called a cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose. Open mouth exhale. This time we're going to connect our breath with the movements. We're going to inhale, sweep our arms up, palms face up, into what we call high mountain. Reach your fingers toward the ceiling and now slide your shoulder blades down towards your hips. So you've got that oppositional energy. They're reaching up as you're sliding down. Inhale. On your next exhale, we're going to bring our elbows down 90 degrees on either side of us and just pull them back a little bit. Tip your chin upward just a tad bit. Inhale back to high mountain arms. Slide the shoulder blades down. This time on our exhale, cross your arms over your chest and fold over halfway with a flat back. And let's hold here for another breath. You might be feeling that stretching in your glutes and your hamstrings. Give a good exhale here. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale. We're going to reach those arms up again. Inhale, high mountain. Then drop your left arm and reach up and over with your right in a side crescent. You can turn and look up into that bicep if you want to. If that doesn't feel good in your neck, then just keep your head straight forward. Inhale back to high mountain arms. And then exhale to the other side. Lift that rib cage up away from the hip bone. Inhale back to high mountain. Exhale to cactus. Inhale, high mountain. Exhale, fold halfway over, flat back, arms cross over the chest. Inhale. Exhale, come back up. Inhale, high mountain. Exhale, left arm down, right side stretch. Inhale, back to high mountain. And exhale, the other side. Bring it back to center. And then bring your palms together, pressing into each other, and bring it right down to your sternum. Lining your thumbs up along your sternum. Slide your shoulders down away from your ears, and think about growing tall out of the top of your head. We call this heart center. We're going to inhale, sweep those arms up to high mountain. As you exhale, bring your hands through heart center and step back with your left foot. All 10 toes are pointing toward the front of your mat. We've got our knees and our hips square to the front. We're going to inhale, bring those arms up to high mountain. And this is called high crescent. Just give a gentle tuck to your tailbone and act like you're squeezing into some tight pants. So you're trying to zip up some tight pants, drawing that belly in and out. I mean, in and up, sorry. Inhale and then exhale. Go back to those cactus arms. A little bit of a balance challenge. Inhale, bring those arms front, reaching those fingers toward the front of your mat. And now exhale, pull your right elbow back and twist over that front leg. It's called archer pose. Inhale, reach that arm back to the front. Exhale, hands to heart center, step your feet together. Inhale, press your palms back behind you, reaching long through the arms. Exhale, sweep your palms up and drop your hips into chair pose. Now in chair pose, I want you to lift your toes and make sure you're sitting kind of into the heels of your feet, and then put your toes down. We're gonna rise up, press those palms back. Inhale, shoulders pulling down away from the ears, feel the upper arms engage. Exhale, back to your chair pose, palms up. So you're getting a little shoulder rotation here. 2 more. Inhale, rise up, press it back. Exhale, sit back, lengthen the spine, reach those fingers toward the front. 1 more time. Inhale. And exhale. Reach it up. Rise up, let those arms come down by the side, and we're going to do the other leg. So we're going to inhale to sweep up, high mountain arms. As you exhale, palms together, you're going to step your right foot back. So again, knees and hips and toes are all pointing to the front in a crescent lunge. Inhale, sweep those arms all the way up. And then exhale, take your cactus arms, elbows back, wide across the chest. Give a little gentle tuck to your tailbone. Squeeze that right glute. Inhale as you reach those arms front. Exhale, pull your left elbow back and take that twist for your archer pose. Inhale, back to the front. Exhale, step feet together, hands come to heart center. We're going to inhale, reach those fingers toward the floor, press the arms back, engage that upper arm. Exhale, push those hips back, palms reach up and forward. Rise up as you press back with your inhale. Sit back, make sure you're sitting into the heels of your feet. You should be able to lift your toes. 1 more, inhale, press it back. Exhale, sit back to your chair pose. And go ahead and rotate your palms so they're facing each other now. Bring your hands together into heart center. Come right to the sternum. So if you need to lift up out of this chair pose a little bit more, feel free to lift those hips a little higher. We're actually going to take a twist here. So I want you to press your palms together, activate your upper back, and then lengthen your spine as much as you can as you twist your left elbow towards your right knee. You can just hold right here. And if you want to take a balance challenge, it's a pose called flamingo. You would slide your left foot back and lift it up. Bring that left foot down. We're going to untwist. Come back to center. Square the shoulders, square the hips. Slide those shoulder blades down. Press your palms together. Inhale. Exhale, right elbow towards your left knee, twisting at the waist. And then if you want to add that balance challenge, slide your right foot back and then lift it up. Bring that foot down, untwist, square the hips and shoulders. We're going to rise up nice and slow, bringing those arms up. Inhale. Take your time. If you feel lightheaded, bend your knees. Exhale through heart center. Good. All right, bring your hands to your hips. And now step your feet outside your mat. And then turn your toes in so your big toe is on your mat. So your legs are internally rotated at the hip. We're going to do an open A. So you've got your legs in open A position. From here, I want you to lift your rib cage away from your hips. So get as long as you can in your side body. And then begin to hinge forward with a flat back, keeping that length in your side body. You're going to really draw your belly in here to support your low back. Your gaze is just going to be on the floor out in front of your mat. So the back of your neck is nice and long. You should be feeling the stretch in your glutes and in your upper legs. From here, we're going to add a twist. So we're going to reach down with the right arm. Keep that left hand on your hip and go ahead and reach your fingers more toward the floor. So you're going to get deeper in that hinge and start to look over to the side. From here, if you wanted to, you could extend that left arm up. If that doesn't agree with your shoulder, just keep your hand on your hip. Bring that left arm down, come back to the hips, square the shoulders, flat back. Make sure you're not sitting in your heels right now. Kind of get your weight over the arches of your feet. Let's twist to the other side. So take that left hand down toward the floor. You could rest it on a block and then pull that right elbow back as you turn your rib cage toward the side wall and maybe extend that arm up. Bring that right arm down. Hands come back to the hips. Flat back, draw the belly in as you come up. Now we're going to lift our left toes up and turn them toward the side wall. I'm going to move back so you can see my position and then I'll come back closer. So my left toes are pointed to the side wall. My right foot is still in that internal rotation. Bend that left knee for warrior two. From here, you want to think about tucking your tailbone under, drawing your belly in and up, and you gaze over your fingers. Slide your shoulder blades down away from your ears. We can do reverse warrior. I like to put my back arm, so that would be your right arm, across your low back And then flip your left palm up and reach up and over as if you're going to do a back bend. And rather than thinking of sinking down into this back hip, think about lifting up through this left rib cage. Next breath takes us back to warrior two. So just cartwheel the arms down, gazing over the fingers. And from here, we're going to go into a side angle. So we're going to bend this left arm, bring the arm onto the thigh, and the back arm's going to reach up and all the way over the head, reaching the fingers to the side wall. So it's a beautiful side body stretch. Really thinking about opening the distance from the bottom of our rib cage to the top of the pelvis. One more breath here. And then with your next breath, bring it back to warrior two. We're going to lift our left toes up and turn them in. So we're back to that open A stance. Bring the hands to the hips. Inhale. Exhale. Long spine. Take your forward fold. This time we'll go all the way over, allowing the head to drop toward the mat. Maybe you shift your weight into one foot and then the other. So you feel that stretch across your low back and into your glutes. With your next breath, bring those hands back to your hips. Long spine lifts you up. Now we're going to lift our right toes and externally rotate that right leg. Put your toes down, bend that right knee. So my left leg is still internally rotated. My right leg is externally rotated. Arms reaching out as long as you can get. Shoulder blades sliding down away from the ears. And remember, we're taking a gentle tuck to the tailbone, drawing the belly in and up. Shoulders should be stacked right over the hips. Warrior two. From here, we're going to reverse our warrior. So we're going to put that left hand behind the low back. Reach your right palm face up and lift up through the rib cage and over. Your next breath takes you back to warrior two. And then we go into side angle, bending that right arm, bringing the forearm to the thigh. Left arm reaches all the way up and over and to the side wall, so the arm's just hovering over your ear. Again, really conscious of creating that space from the bottom of the ribcage to the top of the pelvis. With your next breath, bring it back to your warrior two. And then from here, bring your hands to your hips. We're gonna straighten that right knee. And this time, instead of turning back in, we're gonna lift our left toes and turn them out. So if your feet are too far apart, just step them together a little bit. But now we're externally rotated in both legs. So our toes are pointing outward on an angle. And we're gonna reach our arms up for 5 bar. So we wanna just make ourselves as long and open through the spine and the limbs as possible. We can add a little balance challenge here. Inhale, and as you exhale, see if you can float your heels off the floor. Pushing in towards your big toe, so you're keeping your ankles nice and strong. And lower it down. Arms come down, and just step your feet together. Let's do a little bit of balance on right side and left side, and then we'll finish with another round of breath work. So we'll bring our hands up to heart center. And then just begin to float your right knee up. And I'm going to turn sideways. So as you're floating your knee up, you want to make sure that you're not dropping your rib cage down. So we're keeping the rib cage lifted, keeping the belly pulled in, keeping the booty tucked under, and lifting the knee up. Finding your balance here in stork. Slide your shoulder blades down. And we're going to transition from stork into warrior three. So we're going to take this right foot and push it back behind us as we hinge forward, and then lengthen your arms and reach your fingers to the front. Hinge over as far as you're comfortable going. Maybe you reach that parallel position to the floor. Maybe you stay on a little bit more of a diagonal. Next breath, bring your hands back to heart center and bring your knee back to that stork position. This is hard to do in the evening, so you're doing great. Good, put that foot down. Let's inhale, sweep up. And exhale through heart center. All right, slide the shoulder blades down, draw the tummy in and up, and begin to float your left foot off the floor, bringing that knee up and keeping the upper body nice and still. With your next breath, begin to push that foot back to the wall behind you, hinging forward, and then lengthen those arms out in front of you. Fix your gaze on a focal point out in front of you, a couple of feet. That should help with balance. Next breath, we're going to bring the hands back to heart center. Bring the knee back out in front. And then lower it down. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale through heart center. Let's take a standing figure four just to stretch the glute that we worked during that balancing. So you're just going to pick your right foot up, place your ankle across the meaty part of your thigh. So you don't want it down on your kneecap. You want it above the kneecap on the fleshy part of your leg. And then begin to push your hips back and sink a little lower as you bend this left knee a little bit. You should be feeling this stretch in the outer thigh and in your glute. Feel free to use a chair or a wall to help with balance. Let's do one more breath here. And then rise up, put that foot down. Let's go ahead and do the other side. Pick the foot up, cross the ankle over the fleshy part of the leg. Then begin to push the hips back as you bend that right knee. And breathe. Again, stare at your focal point out in front of you. Fix your gaze. And with your next breath, rise up. Uncross that leg. And let's bring our hands, one palm face up and the other hand resting on top of it, and touch the pads of your thumbs together. I like to think of this as a posture of receiving and holding. We're going to do a breath practice here that is good for calming the nervous system, and it's especially good for nighttime. So make sure you haven't locked your knees, and if you want to sit down, you could have a seat. Otherwise, just keep your knees soft. So we're going to inhale. The breath practice is called 4-7-8. We're going to inhale for a count of 4, hold the breath for a count of 7, and exhale for a count of 8. And if you get anxious holding your breath, or if a physician has told you not to hold your breath, you can just do a steady inhale for like a count of 5 and then exhale for a count of 5. So don't feel pressured to hold your breath if you don't like that. Okay, blow all your air out. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose. Open mouth, exhale. One more time. Inhale through the nose. Open mouth, exhale. And then just release your arms down. Very good. Nice work, you guys. I'll unpin myself.
Oh, the word that kept coming to mind was exquisite.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome. I was just thinking I should end every day doing yoga. Why don't I do that?
Yeah, it's so calming.
Oh.
Yeah.
Different from dodgeball, but hopefully it was appreciated.
Hold on, Dee Dee, we can hear you. Here, we'll unmute you.
It was me. I did that. Sorry.
Oh.